Oh my God, you guys, come in, sit down, and shut the door. Have you heard what's going on with the David case? That grand jury actually called in David's tour manager, David's alleged handler, somebody that was living in the house with David. A record exec was called before the grand jury. And do you know what? They literally were asking him, why didn't you call the police? Now, do you know why this is so big? Well, one, I did a deep dive into the David and Celeste case. This is going to be a part 1, 2, 3, 4 deep dive. I'll link it at the end of this video. But let me just tell you this breaking news, okay? TMZ has an exclusive that, let me get into the story and then I'm going to tell you why this is important. They said the president of David's touring company was grilled Monday by a deputy district attorney in front of a grand jury on why he didn't call the cops. They said the grand jury is hearing evidence in the death of Celeste Rivas. The TMZ story broke. LAPD's robbery homicide division was considering David a suspect in what they said is an apparent homicide. Robert Morgenroth, or Rob as he's known, the general manager of Mogul Vision, David's record label, is also the president of Zara Brothers Travel, David's tour company. They said, we've learned Morgenroth testified all day Monday before an LA grand jury, and at one point, with half a dozen people in the hallway, Morgenroth came out into the hallway and was talking to his lawyer loud enough so others could hear. So baby, they got this tea from eavesdropping. Ooh, I know he mad. Listen, he said, referring to Beth Silverman, the deputy DA, presenting the case before the grand jury, saying she was very pushy on why I didn't call the police. He went on to recount how he responded. I said, I feel like I didn't have the responsibility to do that and just wanted to continue with the tour. Now, they said we do not know the time frame of the tour to which he was referring, but David was on tour when Celeste's body was discovered in his Tesla, which had been parked near the LA house he was renting. This underscores that David is squarely in the crosshairs of the LAPD and the LA County District Attorney, right? The funny thing is, David, okay, and Rob lived together. If they lived together in the mansion, and according to neighbors, Celeste also lived there or they saw her, then that would mean that he would have been one of the first people to notice that Celeste was underage. Or better yet, because remember Celeste, they said had fake IDs, they didn't know. Or better yet, he would have been one of the first to notice, where's that girl that has been living here? Because he's a tour manager. He also would have had to coordinate Celeste showing up at venues. But here's the part where the TMZ thing is so interesting. Remember LAPD? Before they even had the autopsy, was like, we think it's an OD. And we're like, wait a second, you're telling us not to rush to conclusions because we don't have an autopsy. You don't have an autopsy either, LAPD. So how the hell are you putting out theories that absolve David from criminal liability, saying, well, it was an OD, we don't know if there's anything criminal, we don't know what happened. How are you putting out theories that absolve David of guilt? And you don't know what happened either. And you go into war with the medical examiner because the medical examiner says that you guys are stealing information that that shouldn't, right? That shouldn't be there. Now, the funny thing is, let me just follow me on this, because this one statement leads me to believe a lot of things. So the LAPD was like, yo, it was an OD. I think this is where did they get that story? I think they got it from David's camp. I think David's camp is saying she OD'd and we didn't know what to do. And they did whatever they did to her. Now, it has been widely debated whether she was dismembered, whether she was all in one piece. People have reported that she was in 3 separate bags. It doesn't matter. The point of the matter is she is no longer alive. And I don't care if she was in one bag. I don't care if she was in one piece. I don't care what it is. She is no longer alive. And she was found in someone that many people have described as her ex-boyfriend. She was found in the car trunk. So it does sound, by him saying, why didn't you call the police? It does sound like They asked her, well, they asked him, well, if she OD'd, why didn't you call the police? And what was his answer? What was his answer? He said, I feel like I didn't have the responsibility to do that and just wanted to continue the tour. Now, some people are saying, well, this doesn't make sense because he wasn't going over it. You forget that David was in the middle of an American tour. And he was going on different tour dates. So when Celeste was found, David was about to go overseas to his international leg, which, by the way, he was hoping the international leg would launch him in the hearts of K-pop stans. K-pop stans are fiercely loyal. They will run your numbers up. If they like you, baby, you just got the golden ticket of fandom. But also, K-pop, the way it's set up, they don't tolerate a whisper, and I mean a whisper, of impropriety, especially an underage relationship. So going back into what TM said, I felt like I didn't have the responsibility to do that. So you're trying to say, and it all sounds like they've been coached by lawyers, that if there is a dead body, you don't have a responsibility to report it to the police. What this has also let me know, he might be the suspect, the co-suspect. Remember they said they don't think David did this alone? Remember they said that other people might be involved, right? And he just wanted to continue with the tour. That means that they're trying to say that when that tour started, again, this is just me making inferences, but I mean, what else are we supposed to do? It sounds like they're saying that when that tour started, they found out something was wrong and they just wanted to actually continue with the tour. So it makes me think that Celeste disappeared around the time the tour started, which I think was in sometime in March or May. And she was found in September because after they went through the US, she was supposed to go overseas. Well, they were going overseas. Celeste couldn't, because if you're under 16, you need your parents' permission to get a passport, and they have to show up with you in the passport office to get it. So there's no way that she could have traveled. Again, from this one sentence, there's so many things going on. I will say that the whole thing about, oh, I didn't think I had a responsibility. If they can prove that they knew a minor was living in the house and he was getting her IDs, he was helping David come out, and they knew that she was run away, I believe that does establish a duty of care. And when you have a duty of care, you have a duty to help if they are injured, especially if you helped in any way put them in harm's way. What could be a way that you helped put a minor in harm's way? I don't know. Maybe getting her IDs to live with her grown boyfriend and move around, and having her in venues where there's alcohol and places her, and handling the backstage access and you put her in harm's way by letting her be around perhaps the person that many people suspect did something to harm her. And then after you did that, you felt like you didn't have a duty of care. I'm not talking about moral. I'm not talking about moral. I'm talking about actually legal. In any case, you guys, this is a huge update on the David case. Huge update on the David case. Keep your eyes and ears open and peeled for this. I am dropping part 2, 3, and 4 of the David investigation. And if this goes to trial, I will 100% be covering this. Anyway, you guys, let me know what you think about his comments. Regardless, they weren't nothing. It wasn't slight. And the grand jury didn't call him in. And regardless, he knows something. Now, whether he is one of the suspects, we will see. But the police have promised an arrest, and they said they are going to get justice for Celeste. So let's buckle down and see. Anyway, you guys, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.